You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Specifically with LSU, we've talked about this for some time now, really since LSU's bowl was announced, that LSU's going to have trouble fielding the team for this game. And we've gone through a good bit of the why, and part of it was opt-outs. And today we learned that Damone Clark has joined that number as well. So after one of the greatest individual seasons in LSU history, a season that should have earned Damone Clark first-team All-America honors, should have earned him a Butkus Award as the best linebacker in college football. He got hosed out of both of those honors, but he was second-team All-America. He was All-SEC. He was a Butkus finalist. One of the greatest individual seasons in LSU history. Damone Clark announced today that he is opting out of the Texas Bowl. He posted that announcement via his social media, and that really should come as no surprise. This is a guy who, in his senior year, led college football in tackles and had really an incredible, astronomical ascent this year from a guy that was really fighting for a job last year, borderline draft pick entering this season, to Mel Kiper says is the fifth best linebacker in this entire draft and is very likely a day two guy. And if he goes and plays well at the Senior Bowl and runs well at the Combine, could very well see himself elevate into the end of round one if there's a team that really falls in love with him that's in need of a linebacker. So you feel really good for Damone Clark for the season he had. But when you look specifically at LSU, we'll talk about Damone in a second. When you look specifically at LSU, you look at where these numbers are. And I told you this for several weeks now. Like, this was going to be a problem. Injuries. Ali Gay, Andre Anthony, Keyshawn Butte, Major Burns, Joe Evans. Early in the season, Jared Small, Anthony Bradford. Like, y'all know the list by now. The guys that are done for the year. Derek Stingley. And on top of that, you also have guys enter the transfer portal. We've seen Max Johnson enter the portal. Elias Ricks has entered the portal. Deion Smith entered the portal. Trey Palmer entered the portal. Earlier this year, it was Coy Moore. And now you throw on top of that opt-outs, and it was Neil Farrell yesterday, Damone Clark today, and I'm going to tell you again, he ain't the last one. There's going to be other guys that opt out of this bowl game that are not going to play for LSU against Kansas State on January the 4th. I've also told you there is the very real possibility of academic casualties, of guys who are academically ineligible for this bowl game because they didn't take care of their business in the classroom during the fall semester. That's going to happen as well. So you're getting close to that sort of dangerous territory. Hester this morning pegged the number at 51 scholarship players. And that includes guys that were walk-ons that were elevated to scholarship status. Remember, a year ago in the COVID season, the minimum number was 53. You had to have 53 in order, and then you had to have so many at different positions. Like, you had to have a quarterback, you had to have so many linemen, et cetera, to be able to field a team. And so if Hester's number is correct, and I believe he's tap dancing right around it, then LSU's already below that number from a year ago, and there's still more to come. So whether LSU fields a team for this game or not, I think still remains to be seen. I have no doubt they're practicing and they intend to, but you may get into a very sincere number issue that A&M is dealing with and that other teams could very well deal with also as COVID could become an issue. Think of it. You're going into Christmas break. You have guys that are going to go home. They're going to be around family and friends and be exposed to parties and different events, these super spreader events. And then they all come back together, and you never know what could happen next week. So you hold your breath a little bit on that. But Damone Clark opting out of the bowl game. He's going to start getting ready for his draft and that pre-draft process. And I can't say that I blame him. We've talked about it enough, but it's worth mentioning. Damone Clark had just one of the greatest seasons for a linebacker, really for any defensive player in LSU history. When you look at single-season tackles in the history of LSU football, Brady James in 2002 had 154. Best season ever at LSU. In 1981, Al Richardson had 150 tackles. That same year in 81, Lawrence Williams had 144. Until now, Devin White was next in 2017 with 133 tackles. Well, Damone Clark's got 135. So without even playing the bowl game, Damone Clark has the 4th greatest individual season in LSU history. It's amazing what he was able to accomplish year to year from a guy who struggled to keep his job in 2020, was benched late in the year, to the 4th greatest individual season as far as tackles in the history of LSU football. Incredible. Absolutely amazing what Damone Clark was able to do this year. And had he played in the bowl game, you're talking about a guy who potentially could have even gone past Lawrence Williams on that list of 144. I mean, it's possible that Damone Clark could have ended up 3rd behind just Brady James and Al Richardson single-season tackles in the history of LSU football had he played in this bowl game. So just a major tip of the cap to that guy for coming back and playing with the effort he did. One of the great individual seasons that we all got to witness. A couple of other takeaways, though, are just some obvious ones that we're learning in this day and age of college football and in this culture, which is bowl game irrelevance. And it's true, and I don't fault these players, because the reason these bowl games exist, y'all, is to make money. That's it. There's 42 bowl games. You have teams that are sub 500 playing in a bowl game. It's not a reward anymore. Why should a guy who's got potentially millions on the line risk it to go play in a meaningless bowl game so a bunch of dudes in ugly jackets can make money? I don't blame him. I love it. I love football, so I'll watch all these games. I mean, we'll have more football on TV tonight. I'm for it. I'm for more football. Absolutely, I am. But we can't be naive and associate relevance with these games that just isn't actually there. And the other thing that's obvious, too, is these guys are telling you, being the NCAA's leader and single-season leader in tackles, or where you stand in the LSU record book, that's not relevant either. Because Damone Clark had that on the line and he played, and he said, it's not worth it. It's more important for me to stay healthy and get my best shot at the next level. And it's hard to blame him for that. But that is and so much of the animosity is directed toward the players who are opting out. I'm telling you, you got it backwards. This culture that has led to this has been built by greedy adults who have used this structure to make money on the backs of free labor for years. And now the free labor is saying, yeah, I'm not playing in that game. The era of player empowerment is upon us. And it's an era and a culture built because of the actions of greedy adults for decades. And I don't blame Damone Clark or anyone who chooses not to play. I'm all for it for those who want to play. And I'm all for playing the game. But you can't be mad at guys who do something that is self-benefiting in this situation when there really is no benefit of playing in this game. So wish Damone Clark the very best. Awesome season. One that we'll always remember on an individual basis for Damone Clark, who was just fantastic in 2021. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.